What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with our MLB Power Rankings, a series we will be doing till the end of the year. But we're going to start it here in week 3, going into week 3 for the season. And now I think we have a firm establishment of where some teams are standing, because it's always tough to rank those teams after just a week of playing baseball. So we just decided to wait a few weeks, and here we are now with our rankings. But before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're going to be doing that 500 subscriber giveaway, so make sure you're tuned in for that and hit that subscribe button so you're entered. But at 30, we're going to start it here with the Cincinnati Reds. And, I mean, that first bullet right there, lost 11 of their last 12. That's all you need to know about this team.
Another thing is Hunter Green looks like could be a legitimate ace in their rotation going forward. So a bright spot for them. But other than that, a lot of guys are off to a slow start, and the Reds are not looking like they need to trade Joey Votto away. Yeah.
At 29 here, we get the Baltimore Orioles. They're already off to a terrible start with Means, their ace, being out for the year, and potentially a lot of next year as well, too, with Tommy John surgery. But they have made every game at least interesting. That means one loss of 3 runs or more. Of those 10 losses. So they've been playing some very competitive games, but they just haven't been able to clinch it so far.
And at number 28, we have the Washington Nationals. They got some stars coming like Josiah Gray and obviously Juan Soto. But other than that, other than a few other players on the offense, they really don't have a solid roster up and down, and they're 6-12 to start. So most likely a rebuilding year.
27th, we got the Diamondbacks. And this team, it's kind of question marks all over, but Seth Beer has really been the one guy that you can trust so far. Ketel Marte hasn't been doing his best, in the season, what we saw last year. The hitting, obviously, as you can see there, under 200, that's never good. But somehow, in that tough NL West, the pitching has been really good at 3.36 team ERA. And especially this year, with the baseballs supposedly being deadened even more, expect those numbers to kind of stay there. The rotation, though, should probably go up a little bit because, the Diamondbacks don't really have too many stars or bullpen guys.
At number 26, we have the Texas Rangers. The video is not working, but the Texas Rangers, they are, other than a few stars, Marcus Semien, he's going to be fine. Don't worry about that. Corey Seager. They got stars, but they just really, like, Adolis Garcia is not doing it so hot. I mean, rookie of the year, one of the rookies in the conversation last year. But other than that, not much going on for the Rangers.
25, we got the Kansas City Royals. And the wins and losses have been coming in bunches. Either they win 2 or they lose 3, or win 3, lose 2. They just can't kind of, respond quickly to what happens. And I really do think this healthy Royals team could be around 500. They're pretty solid. I know that they have a few minor injuries right now, but relief pitching is what's going to cost them games at the end of the day. I couldn't tell you one guy that's coming out of their bullpen. They did bring Greinke in, so they're going to get a few more wins there. His WAR is obviously going to be good for that Royals team. But playoffs, I think that's a long shot right now, and I think they're really just shooting for 500 this year.
Number 24, Pittsburgh Pirates. Brian Hayes is going off, but in the NL Central, it's a really tough division. Decent start, 8-8. They won 3 out of 4 against the Cubs. Other than that, 21-0 loss to them. So props for the series win, but they need to bring up O'Neal Cruz and really start rebuilding this roster, because they got some guys there, especially if Brian Reynolds keeps raking. They got a solid offense, so they need to get some pitchers.
At 23, we got the Cleveland Guardians. So far this year, they've either got swept or they sweep the other team. Jose Ramirez and Stephen Kwan are their only bright spots essentially for hitting. I mean, everybody knew Jose Ramirez was going to be, the only hitter for this team this year. And, they're kind of living up to what everyone thought, was going to happen. Jose Ramirez, good hitter, so pitch around him and you'll be fine. But you can't score too many because the starting pitching rotation is pretty good. And obviously it is there with a 3.1 ERA. They just need to get hitting, find some guys that can, hit around 260, 270 consistently. And I think that gives the Guardians a chance, at around 500 and potentially a wild card spot.
At number 22, you want to talk about your Tigers?
Yeah, we got my Tigers here at 22. So far, the injury bug, this is the team that has it. Pretty much half of the bullpen's out, half of the rotation's out. And, Baez just got back yesterday on Sunday. And I mean, it's just kind of, who's filling in at this point. I don't even know some of the bullpen guys that they have up right now. But Chafin's expected back soon. Mize is expected back soon. These guys aren't, really off like on a long extended leave here. I'd say by the beginning of May, they should be almost at full health. And that's the real Tigers team I think we're going to see. They're going to take their stride during May like they did last year. In the month of April, they were atrocious last year. And then ever since then, May till the end of the year, they had a winning month. And I think if the Tigers can be around 500 going into May, which, they're right around there, I think this team could make a run. Bias aside, though, they are a pretty solid young team to watch. It'll be fun to watch them. They do have that swagger to them, and AJ Hinch is obviously a top 5 manager in the league, which makes them even better.
At number 21, the Miami Marlins. Jazz Chisholm is a superstar. So Miami, they do have a superstar now. The starting pitchers, really young rotation. That really what is keeping them into games right now with Sandy Alcantara, Pablo Lopez, Sixto Sanchez. They just got Rogers as well. But they have a really solid rotation, and they're going to be winning some games in that NL East. They're going to be one of those super teams, probably shooting around 500.
At 20, we get the Oakland A's. They're the surprise team so far. 9-8, pretty low for about 500 team right now, but no one really had any expectations for this team, so you can't move them up too far. Sean Murphy is, the prospect they've already thought he's going to be, at least so far this year. The team ERA of 3.31 is the most shocking thing, I think, in baseball right now of this A's team. I know they literally dealt away everybody, all hitters and pitchers besides Montas. And he's been having a great year so far in his 3 starts. But the other guys in the rotations, besides Cole Irvin, I couldn't name you the guys that are in that rotation. And they're obviously doing a good job here, even the bullpen included. But the A's, I don't expect them to make too much noise. But, right now, for the time being, they're playing some good baseball.
And at 19, Philadelphia Phillies. They have some high expectations, a lot higher than last year, getting Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber, obviously. But Kyle Schwarber's really not been that guy so far. But he's going to get hot, and this offense is going to be really fun to watch at some point in the season. We already know that, Bryce Harper. But Kyle Gibson's been a really solid pitcher, other than the rest of the rotation. But Kyle Gibson has had a good start, and you just need Zach Wheeler to get a few horses, and they could shoot for a wild card in the NL East.
At 18, we get my second favorite team in the Chicago Cubs. Seiya Suzuki has probably asserted himself as the MVP front runner right now. Really taken MLB by storm. He's hitting like everyone thought he would. Obviously in Japan, he was one of the best hitters of all time. And now he's here and still continuing his hot hitting streak. And Nick Madrigal and Nico Horner are up the middle, are playing great. And I think, Nick Madrigal from that the Chicago deal last year, the Cubs have already won that trade. Kimbrel's gone. They got him for Pollock, and Pollock's not going to be a young guy that they're going to keep around for a while. So right now, that's a huge deal for the Cubs that benefits them for the long haul. It could be a steal down the road too, depending on how good Madrigal is. But talking about the pitching, the rotation's the biggest question mark. Kyle Hendricks, don't know how he does it with his 90-mile-an-hour fastball, but he's super efficient every day. Goes out there, gives up 1 or 2 runs. And then after that, I think the guys, behind him besides Stroman are up about 4 or 5. And that's not what you want out of your starters. So if the Cubs really want to play some good baseball, they're going to have to get those starting pitchers' ERA down.
At 17, we have the Minnesota Twins. And Byron Buxton being a top 5 player when healthy is definitely, I would buy that because, man, he can do everything when he's healthy. He can steal bases, hit home runs. He's obviously hitting 351 with 6 bombs this year. So he's a big spark plug in that offense. And if he's healthy, the Twins are going to be solid no matter what, even no matter what Correa's doing. They're gonna be a top 3 team fighting with the Tigers and the White Sox in this division.
And at 16, we got the Atlanta Braves. The return of Acuna is near. We saw him play some rehab games this weekend. And Matt Olson has really filled in for Freddie Freeman. I mean, what better guy to get than the second best lefty bat as a first baseman? You can't do much better than that for the Braves. It's literally just kind of the same guy, different name essentially. And what I like about this Braves team is they didn't really lose too much besides Freddie. I know everyone's always like, why didn't they bring Freddie back? That's the big thing that was haunting the Braves this offseason. But it's pretty much the same exact core. They lost Jock Peterson and Freddie Freeman, the two notable names. But everyone else is still there. And now they have Kyle Wright added into the mix, who is absolutely came out of nowhere and blossomed into a star already for the Braves. He's almost a 1 ERA through almost 18 innings pitched, and just another scary arm for the Braves.
At 15, we got my Chicago White Sox. Really tough start to the year. Other than they started off 6-2, ended up losing 7 straight. Obviously, Michael Kopech is going to be a dog, but Eloy Jimenez being out for 6 to 8 weeks is going to hurt a lot. We did get AJ Pollock, so the Sox are just looking to stay around 500 to when all their guys get healthy, and then maybe they got to buy at the deadline, because I could see them not winning this division this year. I'm a Sox fan, so.
And at 14, we got the other Sox, the red pair. The thing that concerns me is so far against the AL East, they're 3-6. It's going to be a competitive division. I think you could have a legitimate 4 teams win this division. And right now, the Red Sox are looking like that 4th team that has the least odds to win this division. But Bogarts is absolutely going off right now. He's going, carrying this team essentially, because no other hitter is even hitting close to 300. Verdugo's at 291. I think the next closest is 257. I don't remember who it is, but they're not getting a lot of production. That's why they're 7-9 here. But once again, they've also had a tough schedule to start, as half their games have been divisional opponents against the good divisional opponents too. So you got to give them some slack. But the Red Sox, I think they're going to settle in, and we're going to be talking about them around this range for a long time.
At 13, the Los Angeles Angels. They could be atop of this division. They did play the Astros pretty well and the Mariners so far. So a good start for them. But obviously having Mike Trout back is huge for them. And if he stays healthy, then they definitely can win this division, I think, possibly. But other than that, they could definitely make a wild card spot. Noah Syndergaard's been solid as well. So keep an eye on that. See how he's doing.
At 12, we got my sleeper pick this year, the San Diego Padres. Eric Hosmer and Jurickson Profar, guys that were supposed to be these huge guys when the Padres brought them in, the big contributors, they're finally starting to get around here. Hosmer's been there for 4 years now, it feels like 4 or 5 years, and he's finally, becoming the big money guy that they wanted him to be. Jurickson Profar, he's having a great start to the season. Let's see if he can keep it up. But the big thing, obviously, is Tatis. When is he going to be back? Hopefully, middle of May is what they're shooting for. Whenever they play their 60 games, that's immediately when he's eligible. And the Sean Manaea trade, I really love that trade for the Padres. They brought in another stud starting pitcher, and he's, going to be the 2 or the 3, depending on how they do if they get to the postseason. And why not, bring in this guy that, has some nasty stuff. You could just get you 5-6 innings, 2-3 runs, and especially for this Padres team that loves to hit and slam Diego, that's all you need to win games.
At 11, the Astros have been on a slow start, but Justin Verlander is finally back. He's had a 1.89 ERA and 20 Ks through his first, 3 or 4 starts. Really solid to start the year. All they needed was an ace. They got an ace now, and it doesn't matter about Garrett Cole or whatever. We got Justin Verlander now, and if he's solid, then they're gonna be up there as well.
Starting our top 10, we got the Colorado Rockies. Yes, going from 25th to 10th right now, and I think you and me both wrote this team off before the season even started. We were dissing on him signing Chris Bryant, and he hasn't even really contributed to this team. They got the second best team average in the league of 270. Their pitching, though, is going to be the big question mark because they are in Colorado. Lots of home runs given up, easier to hit balls, and especially right now with the home run rates going down, Colorado is going to stay the same. So they're going to have to adjust to that. But I think Connor Joe was the best story that you're going to hear this year for the Rockies. I think he's been in like 7 or 8 organizations before the Rockies, and now he's finally getting a shot. And obviously he's putting out in a big way. He keeps playing this way, he's going to earn himself to a big contract next year.
Number 9, the surprising Seattle Mariners. I had them as my surprising wild card team. They got a lot better over the offseason. And Ty France has just gone absolutely insane this last week. He went 4 for 4 one game with 3 homers, and then just comes right back with it the next day with a home run. Just a really great start. Logan Gilbert is balling out as well. And they've won 6 of the last 7 games, and they've been playing a tough schedule. So they're a legitimate contender, and we got to give them the props.
At 8, we got the Yankees. Worst fans in baseball. That's all we need to say about that situation. And Judge, Stanton, and Gallo, the big 3 in the outfield, they're all struggling early. I mean, Judge, he's doing all right, but nothing spectacular. But those other 2, it's either strikeout or weak ground ball. It feels like no big home runs so far besides Stanton's 1 moonshot. Other than that, the Yankees team, I'm not really sure how they're at 10-6 right now, if I'm going to be honest. I think they've got lucky in a lot of their games they've played. But Nestor Cortez is the ace, I think, right now. With Garrett Cole trying to figure out some things, he looks really good. 25 Ks in 16 innings, not too bad for your starting pitcher.
Number 7, the Milwaukee Brewers. They've won 6 of the last 7 games in a really easy NL Central. So they always do this. They always win the division, and then they can't win a playoff series. But a good start for them. It's just that Christian Yelich, Willy Adames, when they really arrive, then they have a better offense. But it's just a top 10 team in baseball.
At 6, not moving at all, we got the Tampa Bay Rays. Wander Franco for MVP. Right now, he is one of the front runners for the AL MVP. Absolutely smashing the ball. His on-base percentage is above 400 because, he has a great eye at the plate. But the thing that concerns me is 5 of those 9 wins are close games. But that's also a good thing because, if they can win these close games, then it really shows going down the stretch that they can close it out. In that bullpen, nobody wants to face that bullpen. It doesn't matter what guy they have there. I've never heard of him. He's probably a stud because the Rays just somehow find these guys that can contribute in the weirdest and best ways. But that's why we got to keep them here at 6 is, they're not playing spectacular, but they're not playing too drastic to fall a lot.
And the St. Louis Cardinals at number 5, starting off our top 5. Nolan Aronados is definitely an NL frontrunner right now for MVP, hitting .364 with 5 homers and 14 RBIs. The team ERA is in the top 5 in MLB at 2.88. But other than Nolan Arenado and obviously Tyler O'Neill and a few other guys, other than that, the Cardinals offense has been a little slow. So they got to get that going, but they're a solid team and probably win the NL Central.
And at 4, we got my preseason pick to win it all, the Toronto Blue Jays. 10-6, not terrible start. Bo Bichette tonight in the game while we're making this video, he did hit a grand slam. So we just doubled everything that you see there in those stats to 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. But I think what we're going to take away at the end of the year is how good this rotation is going to be when they hit their stride. Alek Manoah, Jose Barrios, Hyun-Jin Ryu, and Yulsi Kikuchi. Those are 4 names that aren't like the biggest and brightest stars, but they get it done day in and day out. And when they're all healthy on a consistent basis, it's not going to be a fun 4-game series if you have to face those 4 in Toronto. And I think that's what's going to really cultivate this team to the next level.
At number 3, the San Francisco Giants. And I kind of wrote them off as not being as good as they were last year, but here they are with an 11-5 start, one of the best starts in baseball. They just win games. Gabe Kapler is a great manager. He left the Phillies and became one of the best managers in the league. Thairo Estrada is a name to remember. 2.52 team ERA. So the pitchers get it done with Logan Webb, and it doesn't even matter who it is. Carlos Rodon's look great. Giants are just winning baseball games. And I can see him winning over 100 games this year for sure.
At 2, we got another team that I think is going to be over 100 wins. But those are the expectations. And it seems like ever since they've had, that World Series trip, since they haven't lived up to any expectations, mostly due to the injury bug. But this year, we'll see how they do when DeGrom gets back, because right now they're a healthy team for the most part. And obviously, when you add DeGrom back, that's just a whole nother element to this Mets team. Scherzer dealt tonight, 2 hits, 7 innings, 10 Ks against the Cardinals, won that game. And what I'm really liking is Lindor's back. He's not one of my favorite players, but it's good to see him, competing again, having a smile on his face and playing his fun baseball, making the baseball more fun for all the kids and teenagers, and make it more appealing, because, that's what he is. He's an entertainer on the field rather than just a player. And I think that's the Mets swagger this year. They got a little swagger to them this year. They haven't had that in a few years. And we're going to see if that continues, going into next week and beyond.
And obviously at number 1, we have the Los Angeles Dodgers. Bellinger off to a really solid start with already hitting 4 home runs. He could be back. We could be seeing that MVP belly back, and that'd be awesome to see for the Dodgers. Mookie Betts, once he gets going, he's already started, but once he really gets going, I think he's going to have a breakout year compared to the last couple of years. Kershaw has looked like an ageless wonder out there, just pitching out great games. He's just a crafty pitcher who gets innings and just gets outs. Their bullpen has been pretty nuts as well. And once they get Blake Treinen back, they're going to be solid. And obviously with Freddie Freeman, a great pickup. I mean, Matt Olson's great too, but Freddie Freeman is just Freddie Freeman. And the Dodgers and Braves won that trade. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. If you made it to the end of this video, then we appreciate it. And we're going to be working to get some content out. So, Bench Buddies are out.
She never called back.